What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We are doing something a little different today. Not working on a Ranger. We will give you a little bit of an update. We're not tuning anything LS related, and it's a little out of the ordinary. Some of you know we got a shop car, 71 VW Bug, and it has a fresh 1600 in it that was recently rebuilt. It's pretty much all new. The only thing that really got reused was the crank and the case. Everything else is pretty much new. I think the rods got reused. They got resized and used. But we are past the break-in period. I just got fresh oil in it. Got the oil changed and adjusted the valves. So today we're going to take it and we're going to strap it to the roller and see how much power the Bug makes. I think I have to go back and do some looking. I think back in 71, the 1600s might have been rated for like 43 horsepower. This is a dual port. But yeah, it's next to nothing. I'm gonna guess 35 horsepower to the tires. This car, if I remember right, has it's a stock 1600. As far as stroke and bore, it does have an Engel W100 Cam in it, twin Webers, and then EMPI dual exhaust. Other than that, pretty basic setup, nothing too crazy. It is pretty fat down low. It does have quite a bit of fuel, but once it starts to rev out, it revs out pretty good. So we're gonna try and strap it to the roller. The Bugs have a goofy, they're just goofy in general, so finding something to strap down to on the rear might be a little bit of a challenge, but I looked at it the other day and I think it's doable. So I'm gonna get her strapped down and see what happens. Alright, we got her strapped to the roller. Got everything hooked up. Got a good RPM signal. Went ahead and put the wideband in it. Kind of see what their fuel looks like. Got straps. Trying to get some water temp in her. And let's see what happens. Alright, so we're going to do a tug in second gear. Just to get a feel for things. This thing doesn't rev out real far. This is the first time I've seen any sort of RPM signal on it. I don't have a tack or anything. You know, I got a partial speedo gauge, a fuel gauge, and that's about it. So we'll kind of see. You know, I know the sound of what I rev it to, you know, driving it around town, but I don't know what that is as far as a number. I'm guessing 4 to 4,500. We'll kind of just see what it sounds like. You know, obviously we don't want to send the rods to the gods today, but we'll see what happens. So second gear, we'll start at about 1500 RPM. So let's get to 1500. Let's stab the start button and we'll leg it into second gear and see what happens. Sounded about normal. I think we got to 48. You can see where we hit the max was about 49. Save the run. Woo! Go ahead and kill her and see what we got. Second gear, about 47 horsepower, 65 foot-pounds of torque. It is an absolute torque monster. Started the run at 1500. Like I said, it looked like we went to about 48. So right there where it starts to fall is 48. So we made 42.16. See what air fuel looked like. It stumbled awfully bad right off the hit. It was real sluggish, real doggish. This bottom one will be the air fuel. Extremely rich. That's why it stumbled. We were 11.0. We dipped down all the way to 10.5, 10.1. And we ended up at the top about 4,800 RPM. We were 11.3. Once we got to 3,500, it leaned out a little bit. I wouldn't say it leaned out. It got to a good, power enrichment, air fuel at 11.4. Definitely runs a lot better up top. Way too much fuel down low. The dual Webers, definitely, they are synced, but they are not tuned by any means. This kind of just proves it. But mile per hour. What do we have for mile per hour speed? That was a whopping 43 miles per hour. Top of the run, 43 miles per hour. All right, did some looking. Third gear, if this is still the original 71 tranny, third gear is 1.22 and fourth is 0.88. So we don't have a 1-to-1 in this thing. We really need to run third and a half gear, but obviously that's not an option. So we'll go ahead and do a third gear pull. See what kind of power it makes in third gear. That'll probably be a more accurate torque reading as well in the second gear. Yeah, so here's a third gear. See what happens. Alright, so we'll start at 2,000 RPM in third gear. Idle back down. And here we go. We spiked at some point at 48. We'll call that a 48. Torque, 67 foot-pounds of torque. Again, we started, get this thing shut off. We started at 2,000 RPM. As you guys could have seen, it was extremely fat, and then it started to lean out just a little bit to about 11.5, 12.0, I think is what I saw. And then up top, it just, it's not real smooth. But we did run it out to about 45, 4,600 RPM. I am impressed it made 48 horsepower. And I'm surprised with how much torque it's making too, which kind of baffles me. But, it is what it is. Dynos don't lie. Unless it's a Mustang dyno, then you can make those lie. So there you have it, 48 horsepower, 67, almost 68 foot-pounds of torque out of our glorious 71 Superbug. So a quick update on the Ranger. Since we had some extra time, killed the fan. Since we had some extra time, went ahead and pulled the intake out of it. Got the injectors yanked out of them, gonna have them cleaned. Also getting rid of all the EGR stuff. Put a bolt in there with some silicone in the intake. Don't need the EGR anymore. And then we'll get that cut off, get that blocked off. Went ahead and pulled cruise control just to get it out of the way. Other than that, haven't really touched it. We did slap some more stickers on there, good for another 5 horsepower. And other than that, that's really about it. I drove it the other day south of town, went for about a 20-minute drive, ran really good. I need to stop driving it before I do blow it up before the event. Tossing around the idea of moving the radiator to the bed. This thing could take a pretty severe impact on the front if the radiator was in the bed and still keep on trucking. Something could easily poke a hole in this, if we got into a fender bender, what have you. and could kill the radiator, take us out of the race, and then we're done. So really contemplating going through and mounting the radiator between these bars, and then coming in here, cutting across here, here, and there, pushing this down, welding into it, making it like a scoop to try to suck air up into it. We already have the big electric fan on the radiator. This would just force more air into it. Cooling, my only issue with moving it back here is it's going to be a little bit of work. It's not going to be the end of the world, but it is doable. And getting enough airflow to it to where we don't have heating problems in the bed. That is my biggest concern. I think there's ways around it. Putting a vent, more fans on it and what have you, but that's the only reason I haven't done it. It is running and driving the way it is, and you know, there's a 90% chance it'd probably be fine. But you know, we did leave the AC core in there. Can't even think, condenser, whatever you want to call it. It is in there to kind of protect it, but you know, one little nick, we could crack the side, we could poke a hole in it. You know, we could, I think, easily take out the radiator, but I'm probably just overthinking it, maybe a little paranoid. It'll probably be fine, you know, and it, you know, it will be fine. Maybe we won't touch it, but that's really the big thing left to do if I do anything on this, other than get the injectors back in it, get it all buttoned up, and then just, you know, stop driving it. Let it sit, stop tearing it up. I like driving it. It's fun to drive. Ever since we got the muffler built for it, it is an absolute blast to drive. So that's pretty much it, everybody. Thanks for coming in, hanging out with us while we dyno our bug. We'll see what the next video brings. If there's something else you guys want to see on the dyno, let me know, and we'll see if we can find one. Whether, you know, as odd as it may be, we might put, you know, side-by-side on the dyno. We could put, you know, put another Ranger on the dyno. We could blow up another Ranger. Whatever you guys want to do. So if there's something you guys want to do, let me know, and we'll see if we can make it happen. So we'll see you guys next time.